The Life Without Liana's podcast. Ang Yayon's house.
Welcome to another episode of Life with Aureliano's podcast. Ta-da-da-da. Okay, so in this week's episode, what do we feel like talking about today? Our topics have been so random because we pretty much just go by how we feel. You know, we never want to feel like we're forced to talk about something.
Although sometimes I kind of feel that I'm pressured to post because normally people expect every week that we...
You're pressured to post.
Yeah.
But in terms of talking love, how many times have I wanted to talk about something and you're like, nah, not in the mood?
Yeah.
So, you know, when it comes...
Mood plays a very important factor.
So, you know, when it comes to, you know, what we want to talk about, we both, our hearts have to be in it.
In the same place. We find our same groove.
Yeah.
Hopefully on the same page.
Yeah.
And
So,
today
we are
or this hour.
this hour, we are on page 192.
It's kind of tough, kasi for the past couple of weeks, and mind you, the last time we recorded an episode was probably 1 week ago, but we can't air that yet because we don't want to preempt an episode pretty much connected to that podcast.
Yeah.
Sorry, an episode, behind ni Drew episode connected to that podcast. But before that, it's been weeks.
Yeah.
A couple of reasons why we haven't recorded anything. One,
Life happened.
life happened at the same time. We had work overseas. I also had work overseas after our work overseas.
Yeah, and then my aunt got sick. Mom
Right.
came over.
Right.
Yeah, a few things, and then of course Mom was trying to clean out also. So you know, there are a lot of just life happened, guys. You know,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, we do have 4 kids. So
So we just really want to apologize for people who are expecting us to post every week. As much as possible, as much as we want to, we will try to post every week. But we have to go back to the reason
Why
or
we chose
reasons
to
why
podcast.
we chose to do this podcast was because
why we chose to do podcasting over any other thing that we could be doing.
Correct.
Because
correct.
it's just more flexible.
It's more flexible. We try to sustain it as possible as we can.
Yeah.
Try to be consistent, but of course, we have other priorities.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So yeah, it's just been, and I'm sure, you know, we want to share this too because, you know, we want to make you guys feel like it's really how life goes. That there are just some phases where you have to prioritize other things, and other things can kind of just take a bit of a back seat. And you know, we're in the stage right now where the kids are really active right now. You know, and we're trying to keep up with all of their activities too, and that's not even like full blast yet.
blast. So mind you, right now we are sa gitna na kasagsagan ng summer. So syempre may summer classes yung mga bata.
But on top of that, Primo is actually not on summer break yet, so we're trying to finish, meet deadlines of big projects and exhibit whatever that he needs to also do. So
Part of their homeschool curriculum. Also at the same time, they're also playing football Monday, Fridays. At the same time, they love to swim nowadays, which they are currently doing. And mind you, yun yung parang gusto namin pag-usapan. One of the many things that's been happening in the household of Aurelianos, the Aurelianos, and we just want to talk about something that made us really smile and be happy about is pretty much their status of how they are, how should I say this? The status of their swimming capabilities.
okay.
Pwede ba yun?
Yeah, dun muna tayo. Swimming muna.
Swimming muna.
Okay,
Parang
sige.
parang doon na po.
Dahil nandun na tayo.
Parang napadpad na doon eh.
Okay.
Sa status ng kanilang pagsiswimming.
Okay. Okay, so let's begin with, well, I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with Primo.
Help
And
Papa,
yeah, help.
Primo.
How old was he? Maybe around 2, 3, 2. And yeah, we had him in floaters. We did try to put him through swimming lessons, and oh my goodness. Yeah, the intention was so that he would, eventually learn how to swim. And, I guess there are some stages where you feel like, they're gonna resist in the beginning. Eventually, there are some moments where you just have to let them cry through it, and then eventually they'll learn how to swim, and then okay na tayo. But with this one,
We didn't like it. We tried to hire a swimming coach, which
we tried to take up swimming classes.
take up swimming classes. First, I just didn't like the vibe because nga parang Primo wasn't just, not only one, he wasn't comfortable in the water. Two, he wasn't comfortable
with the teacher.
So parang sabi ko,
oh my goodness, malayo pa lang, nagha-hi pa lang yung swimming coach niya.
parang horror house.
It's parang, oh my gosh, wala pa sa tubig, nagha-hi lang yung teacher and medyo nagwawala
You
na
think
siya.
maybe it's because of timing, not exposed to different people yet. I guess his age. I guess ang daming accumulation of.
Yeah, and maybe we're probably partly at fault also, where we probably try to force him to learn how to swim and try to force him to get comfortable with water when he wasn't. Maybe it also may partly it might also be Lola's fault that never niya binasa yung ulo ni Primo, kaya he never got accustomed to that. So, a lot of things.
A lot of things.
A lot of things. He was the first baby. Syempre, mas maingat tayo.
Yeah. Correct. Totoo.
So it really took a lot longer for him to get comfortable in the water. And love, even when he did learn how to swim, remember during the pandemic, it was only then that he really started to. Okay, no, that's too fast forward. Dun muna tayo sa Papa, help Primo.
Right. Medyo madumi pa yung tiles ng condo pool. Kitang-kita.
But we made it a point to try to swim together as often as we could, just so that he would get more familiar with being in water.
I think yun eh. When we kind of realized na, the swimming class isn't working for him, you know what, let's just be with him in the pool. Diba? I mean, comfortable siya sa magulang, papa, mama, swimming. Tapos nun, familiar faces nga. Feeling ko yun eh. So parang dun lumabas, I guess, naturally yung, Papa, help Primo.
Yeah.
So
all the more love when his brother came.
All the more when his brother came.
Before that, it was always just Drew and I, come on, let's go swimming. And he didn't want to go swimming. Parang I would be happy just to be in our pool for like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If I could stretch out the time until 30 minutes, that was already like a win. But even just to get him up there, he wasn't at all that excited.
Right.
And then eventually, time was kind of stretching out, and then we found a neighbor who had a little girl same age as Primo, so they would swim together, and so that made it more enjoyable also for him.
It's funny that having more than one kid or having siblings plays such an integral role in the developmental stage of anything, diba? Specifically here sa swimming, parang we kind of felt that yung internal competition kicked in, and that kind of propelled him to, teka, kaya ko din yan. Yung may ganon.
Parang they both give each other so much courage without them realizing it.
Oh.
And they inspire each other without them even realizing it.
Indirect inspiration.
So love, when did Primo start to get better at swimming? Ito si Leon,
He's a
medyo
fast learner.
super recently na.
And I think it's vice versa because nakikita niya yung kuya niya lumalangoy. And then he has this very natural athletic capabilities, abilities. So I guess yung movement niya is just mas mabilis lang siyang matuto.
Yeah. But his body just naturally knows what to do. Without having to think so much about it.
Yeah. Super. Motor skills niya off the charts. Anyway, wala lang. We kind of felt na parang, si Primo hindi na kailangan ng floaters. Parang he can float. He he can kick na,
He
and
knows
he
how to
can
swim,
move.
keeping his head above the water.
Right. And then Leon, who's 2 years younger, kailangan pa ng floaters. Pero eventually, you kind of felt na, teka lang, he wants to actually
Go underwater.
So, if you visualize it, kapag may floater siya, hindi siya nakakapag-underwater.
Yeah, because of course, well, the floaters, there are different types of floaters, but the ones that Leon wears are the ones on the arms. Now, the reason why I like the ones here is because I can like kind of deflate them also. So,
Hindi lang black or white, hindi lang floating or not
Yeah.
floating. Ito parang, uy, you're kind of floating,
medyo
pero...
na-deflate ko na siya. Tapos, pinipilit niyang parang ipasok yung ulo niya. So,
Submerge yung ulo niya.
Hirap siya. Because of course, lumalaban yung floaties niya.
Right.
But gusto niyang ipasok yung ulo niya sa tubig.
Right.
So, I figured, you know what, love? I think he wants to learn how to swim underwater.
Not only that, di ba, we bought these parang mono snorkel
Yeah. You can find them in
decathlon.
It's like a full face
Full
mask.
face, tama, full face snorkel of some sort. That kind of helped him, no?
That helped him.
Appreciate what can be seen underwater.
That also almost made him drown.
Yes.
You have to be really careful with those because, of course, if the water's
The fit.
inside and then they're so confident and then they inhale, sabay may tubig, syempre, that's something you wanna...
So malaking bagay na taming fit.
Na taming fit and that you can really watch them as they swim.
Right. But then they progressed also from that.
Eventually, I got rid of that kasi nga natakot ako. I couldn't just leave them. Because Leon, the thing with that is that Leon was getting awfully too confident. That he would swim off on his own.
You know what? Yung personality kasi ni Leon, he's a risk taker. He is such a risk taker.
Love, weird. He is that na he isn't. Ganon si Leon.
Meron siyang parang, I can't do that. Pero, gagawin din niya.
May ganon si Leon eh. So medyo kinakabahan ako because of course, when his face is under, he can't exactly tell kung puno na nga yung mask ng tubig o hindi. So that's why I was like, you know what, just get rid of it. But the purpose for it was for them to actually put their head underwater. Because love, ang tagal before Primo could put his head underwater. Ang tagal! And it took that full face mask for him to find the confidence and for him to appreciate
What's
being
underwater?
underwater.
And then...
So when we unlocked that, then I got rid of that mask. Then we moved to goggles.
Right. Now, when they were wearing their goggles, which they are still wearing now, Primo had to use his one hand to cover his nose.
Yeah.
So parang naturally, alam na niya na dapat walang papasok na tubig sa ilong niya.
Yeah.
Okay, naging okay yon, but at the same time, naging hurdle.
Yeah.
Or how should I say this? Hindi hurdle. It's a barrier.
Restriction.
A restriction. So, ano nangyari?
Well, okay.
Sige.
Well, first it was Primo. So the next stage was for him to get comfortable submerging his face with just his goggles. Kasi syempre, full face mask, that his whole face was covered. So, ang dali lang for him to put his face underwater because he knew he could still breathe. Ito, syempre, it was a new skill. So he needed to learn how to get comfortable with submerging his face with just his goggles.
Right.
So eventually, of course, we're practicing, seeing where he was comfortable, and he was comfortable submerging his face, provided that he would cover his nose.
Right.
Anyway, he was trying to teach baby bro, because baby bro, you just have to go like this. You just have to, and then cover your nose. Next thing you know, Leon's like,
okay,
putting his face under the water, and even Primo was like,
whoa,
Mama, how come baby bro? Baby bro is just putting his head under the water like that? And I'm like, well, love, for some people, it's just easier.
Yeah.
But that's okay, love. I mean, that's what he's comfortable doing, then good for baby bro.
Right. It's funny that, so, can I make kwento about the watch? So parang when Primo got comfortable going underwater na, So we have this game. So I take off my watch, I throw it, and then syempre it's gonna fall sa mismong
Sink to the
floor.
bottom.
Oo. Si Primo would then say, "Okay, Papa, I'm gonna get it," but go underwater, but pull and use my legs.
He'd climb down.
He'd climb down, use my legs, and get the watch and go back up. Here you go. So we do that multiple times. And then one day, which was probably a week and a half ago, I throw it around near baby bros.
Yeah, love. We haven't explained yet that Leon has finally figured out how to swim na rin on his own.
Right.
It was that same day, love.
It was that same
When he
day.
realized that, oh my goodness, I can actually swim, keep my head above the water.
No, so like swim. He doesn't use his arms yet. He's kicking, streamline, but he learned how to pause,
Go up for
go
air.
up for air, and then be streamline again, and then
Yes.
kick again.
Yeah, because that was our hurdle with Leon. Leon was so confident putting his head underwater, but he wouldn't know, like he would really stretch out his lung capacity.
Yeah.
Na tipong
Nakakainom na siya ng tubig.
kakabahan na kami kasi nga yung umaabot na siya sa point na he would rather just keep his head underwater rather than come up for air.
And makikita mo kasi, when he'd come up for air, sabi, iba talaga tong batang ito.
Yung parang, yung, alam mo that he's...
Kinakabahan ako kasi
Tinatodo niya.
he's gonna push his body to the limit when he gets old. Hi! Hi, Drew!
He is your son, love. Ay, nako.
Oh my goodness!
Which is why when Leon does something like that, Drew and I just look at each other and she's just like,
So wait,
That's me.
Pwede ko ba yung kwento before we actually
Okay.
conclude our swimming episode? So I throw the watch.
Yeah.
All right, thinking that Primo would get it. Here comes
Leon.
Swim.
who just figured out how to swim keeping his head above
On the
water.
surface, on the surface, swim on the surface. Here comes Leon. Dives. And propels.
Sumisisid.
Sumisid na siya papunta sa pool floor. Gets my watch. Brings the watch to me. And I look at the I'm like, and then Anton, and then Primo goes, what? He was also so surprised. And I do it again. Mind you, Kuya
Was still trying to figure out kung paano sumisid.
sumisid without using my body to climb down.
Yeah.
Here comes baby bro, figures out how to swim down using, just kicking
To use
down.
his body.
Just to use the body. So anyway,
Yeah, but because of that,
you're
wet.
wet.
Hi,
Yan, speaking
dudes.
of, si Duday just came down.
but it was funny, love, because of that, I feel like naengganyo si Primo na, wait lang.
Exactly. And there you go.
And
There's
then-
that competition, internal competition. Uy, kaya ko yan Teka lang.
And then the next day we went swimming.
Yan, ginawa na niya.
All of a sudden, he also unlocked it.
Ginawa na niya.
He was able. So I was like, wow, love, you figured out how to go under na. Using your body.
Pero teka, let's not forget Duday. Duday just, very, casually and just being relaxed, just watching first the two brothers swim. Syempre siya may floaters pa rin.
Yeah.
Pero nakikita mo, sometimes she's just feeling it out.
Yeah.
Just putting 2 feet in the water and just like, and then stands up and then goes down again until she's safely and calmly
In the
relaxed in the water.
So calm that she's not just floating in her floaters, but with her feet up above the water. I don't know how she does it,
don't
but
know.
it's really cute when she does.
But for parents out there who are probably in that stage wherein, how can we teach our kids how to swim?
Or if you have kids that are struggling with wanting to be in the water,
I think the first step talaga is for them to be comfortable in the water.
Yeah.
That's a super major step.
even if it might mean extra work on your end and kailangan mong samahan. Because yeah, I know it is a hassle. You gotta change into your swimsuit. You gotta change, and then it doesn't help if you have like body issues and you don't feel comfortable having to get into that kind of attire.
Or
It's
sometimes ito, galing na ako sa workout, naligo na ako, tapos nun, let's swim.
Ma, I wanna go swimming.
Mind you, after a couple of years, we both realize parang it kind of paid off na rin. Look at them having fun in the water.
Yeah.
Diba? And we're confident already, just like, okay.
Because I mean,
it's a life skill.
Yes, it's a life skill. Like, in the back of my head when kakaligo ko lang and then biglang they want to swim, I have to stop and remind myself na, teka lang, kailan lang I couldn't wait for them to want to swim? Kailan lang ako yung naghihirap para to invite them to go swimming? Now, sila na yung nagyayaya, tapos ako naman yung parang, I just look at that. So parang sometimes you just gotta remind yourself na, okay, wait, you were waiting for them to get to this point, and now that they actually want to go swimming, now's the time that you go and enjoy that time with them.
And I get you don't want to take baths.
Especially after I've just taken one. I've just dried my hair.
Once a week, done, yes. And then you want me to
Grabe naman yung once a week.
Hindi pala.
I've just fixed my hair and then...
Makeup pa. Hindi pa naman makeup.
Hindi pa naman makeup.
Time's up. So we're gonna...
But yeah, so, I guess we just want to remind you guys that, just remember what you're trying to achieve here. And, if it means that you might have to make a bit of more of a sacrifice now just to get them comfortable in the water, to make them want to enjoy being in the water, let's just make these sacrifices, because this is a life skill. It is so important. I've heard of so many freaky stories of kids drowning, and even if they do know how to swim, it still kind of scares me, because now our issue now is for them to understand how dangerous it is to pull someone else under the water, because of course
they're playing.
Naghaharutan na sila.
They're playing.
Syempre nagkakapikunan din sila. So minsan Primo's pulling Leon under, Leon's pulling Kuya under, especially if they're racing to get Drew's watch or racing to get some.
Hey, speaking of, can I just add? I forgot na kung saan natin nakita yun, but I think a good advice, one solid advice that we found out and learned, like when you go to the beach or pool, let your kids wear something not blue. Tama ba? It's something bright, kasi parang it's easier
so
for you to
see them.
so that you can see them. Wala lang, parang sabi ko, oh nga no, that's such a sound advice. Anyway, take advantage of pools around you. If you have a pool in the condo or near your house or whatever, take advantage, kasi ang laking bagay talaga if your kids know how to swim. Eventually, lalo na you'll utilize better your beach trips.
Yeah. Yes.
Diba?
Yes.
And you'll be more confident lang just being in the beach and having fun than being worried.
Yeah. And if there are if there are friends around, maybe you can build a community around a place where there is a pool that you can all go to. That also helps when they have friends that they can swim with.
Laking bagay. Laking bagay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
All right. So are we going to go for a swim? Or I think, you know what? They're supposed to be back from their swim, so we have to get them
sila
from
sa
the swim.
swimming eh.
Sobrang na sila na aliw na. Nahahappy naman kami. Don't you worry, nandito kaming dalawa, pero may tao naman dun kasama sila. Baka sabihin nila, ang grabe naman, iniiwan na lang sila mag-swim.
Buti na lang meron tayong mga mababait na neighbors.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, we hope we were able to inspire you guys.
Welcome to the Life with Aveliano's podcast. I'm Yayon's house.